Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about some of the things that I actually stopped doing in order to manifest wealth and abundance. You guys seem to really enjoy my previous videos about manifesting wealth, so I want to make more content that you enjoy. So let me know down below like if you want more videos like this or what you specifically want to see. Okay, so the first thing that I stopped doing to actually manifest more wealth and more abundance into my life was actually to stop holding myself back. And this can come in so many different forms depending on what your belief systems are around money. If you have like limiting belief systems around money, it can manifest in so many different ways. For me personally, the biggest one that it manifested in was my income, like holding myself back as far as my income and what my earning potentials were and like what my ideas about how much I could earn was. So at my job, like for years, I would never ask for a raise. I would just keep working the same job and I would just like keep my head down and never ask for a raise. And the thing about that is, depending on where you work, some places are really great. Like they'll have salary expectation, like yearly raises on their website. You can literally see everything and it's all very like transparent and upfront. You know exactly what to expect. Whereas some places are just not like that. And you could be working the same job as somebody else. You guys could be doing all of the same tasks and your pay could be very, very different. And because it's so taboo to like talk about money and salary and how much you make, a lot of the times you guys will never even talk. You'll never know how much each other makes. And one of you could be getting paid significantly less for doing the same exact job. So that's why I think it's so important to kind of talk about these things and to not be so like shy about it. But I know a lot of people have very strong beliefs about not talking about money. But I think in the long run, it ultimately hurts employees and it only benefits employers. But long story short, I started to ask for raises every year. And I think it's an important practice anyways, because inflation is crazy right now. But even when inflation is, not crazy, when it's just normal 2 to 3% inflation every year, the prices of things do naturally go up. So asking for like a 10% raise every year is not something that's so crazy. It's something that most people actually expect, most workplaces expect, because employees really, every year you're gaining experience, but also you're just trying to keep up with inflation. So essentially, if your salary stays the same every single year while inflation and the cost of living goes up, then what's essentially happening is, in real terms, you're getting paid less every year for doing the same job. So that's why it's important to do that. And like I said, holding yourself back can manifest in many different ways. It's not always just your income and your job. Another way that I was kind of holding myself back was I would like limit and restrict myself on the things that I wanted. Like if I wanted to travel, I would be like, no, I can't afford that. Or if I wanted something nice, I'd be like, no, I can't afford that yet. Something like that, right? So when you're doing that, what you're actually doing is you're vibrating at a lack frequency, because it's about kind of what your vibrations are, what vibrations you're putting out, who you're being, and that gets mirrored and reflected back to you. And that gets mirrored and reflected back into your reality. So if you're like, oh, I can't afford this, I can't afford that, then that's the message that you're sending out, and then you're gonna get back more of that. And I'm not saying to like go out and get into crazy debt because you're like, I can't afford everything, but you can always start small with where you are now and work with what you have, because it's not about like necessarily spending a crazy amount of money. It's about small mindset shifts. So for example, what I started doing instead of saying, oh, I can't afford to travel, what I did is I looked at my expenses and realized I was spending a crap ton of money on like shopping, on worthless things that I was not really using and I was throwing away basically after a year or so. So I realized that was a huge waste of money. So I allocated that money instead to traveling. And what you can also do is start small, right? So instead of like some big extravagant vacation in Europe, even though that's like what you eventually want, right? What you're gonna do is you're gonna start small. You can look into maybe like little staycations that you can do, or little weekend trips that you can do that's within your current budget. Because it's about sending out a different vibration. It's not necessarily about like breaking the bank or anything like that. You're just embracing a different flow, a different mindset, a different vibration, so that you can change your situation. Maybe you can look into like staying with your friends if they live like an hour away or so, and maybe you can stay with them for a weekend if they like you and they're willing to host you, something like that. And then that way it's a really super affordable vacation, but you are traveling and you're getting into the vibration, the frequencies of someone who travels and someone who gets what they want and doesn't necessarily have to hold themselves back because of money. Because when you hold yourself back and you're like, I can't afford this, I can't afford that, that's the vibration that you're putting out, and that's exactly what you're gonna get back. The next thing that I had to stop doing was delaying and like putting things off because I felt like I couldn't afford it yet. So an example is I would be like, I want to make YouTube videos, I want to make like fashion content, but I can't afford like Chanel bags yet. So I'm gonna wait until I can afford all of these nice clothes and then I'll make fashion content. So that's another form of holding yourself back in regards to money. And ultimately it's just like an excuse. So it doesn't have to be like my specific example. It could be maybe you want to start a business, but you're like, I'm gonna wait until I have money. Or maybe you just want to do something fun. Maybe you want to buy something nice. Maybe you want to like live in a nicer place, something like that. But you're like, I don't have money, so I'm not even gonna like think about it until I have the money. But what you actually want to do is start looking into it and start acting as if you're gonna do it, even if you feel like you don't have the money yet or you can't afford it yet. So for example, if you want to make fashion outfits, fashion videos, outfit videos, and you can't afford like the luxury designer clothes yet, just start with what you have and work with what you have. Or if you want to start a business but you can't, like, don't have like the capital yet to do it, maybe just sit down and just look at how much it would cost, how much capital you would need. Maybe start looking into investors who could give you that money in order to start your business. You don't necessarily need to wait, because when you start taking action, when you're getting into the vibration of I can do this, I am already doing this, then things will come into your life to help make it happen. But if you're like, oh, I'm gonna wait until I have money, then the universe is gonna be like, oh, you're waiting, so we're not gonna give you any of the opportunities yet because we're waiting still. If you want to like move into a nicer area, something like that, start looking online for maybe places that are renting, because sometimes you just find like crazy good deals when you're just looking and casually. So it's important to kind of look into things even if you're not necessarily ready yet. And I think one of Oprah's favorite quotes is like, luck is just opportunity meets preparation, right? So what you're essentially doing is you're preparing. You're preparing so that when opportunities come your way, you're ready and you can take advantage of those opportunities. And the last thing I had to do was to get out of like doing mode and get into receiving mode. So receiving and expecting money to come in. It was such a foreign concept to me like a few years ago. I just never expected money to come in. Like I never expected unexpected random amounts of money to come into my bank account, and so it never did. But when I started kind of opening my mind up to possibilities of extra sources of income, of multiple streams of revenue, those kinds of things, I think what ends up happening is because you open yourself up to the opportunity, because you're putting your focus on that, what happens is it will expand and grow, because anything that you put your mind and your focus to will expand and grow. So multiple streams of income, multiple sources of income started to come into my bank account. I started to get like unexpected opportunities that would just bring me money, and money would just like hit my bank account. And I would randomly check and it'd be like $500, like $200. Sponsorships would start to come in for my YouTube channel, so my other YouTube channel. So it's really about getting into receiving mode and getting into like almost law of expectation mode, where you're like kind of expecting multiple sources of income to come in. And again, I say work with where you are, work with what you have currently, because you want to work with like accepting your current situation, accepting your current reality, because it works the fastest in that sense, because it's all about just changing your mindset and getting into receiving mode. And it doesn't have to be like something crazy or huge. It can be very little small things that's going to get you in flow, and that's going to really snowball and lead you to the bigger things that you ultimately want. Okay, that's it for today's little video. I hope that you found value in this. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out and helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate it. Let me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you next time. Bye!